So welcome to my home garden. Today I'm going to be showing you how the things are doing that I've started off from seed. So if you've not already subscribed to my channel, if you could please do so, because you'll get lots of helpful hints and tips all throughout the year from my home garden, my allotment and also my home kitchen. Now I've just come back from the allotment and I'm now going to look at my seedlings to show you how they're doing. So I've got a selection of plants that I've started off from seed here and that I'm looking after that has got to stay in a frost-free environment until the chance of frost have gone. Now they're in my conservatory at the moment because we had a few really frosty days, and if I'd have left them in my summer house or my greenhouse, they would have most certainly, some of them would have perished, and that's the last thing you want to do, to put all the love into starting your seeds off and to lose them. So the first thing I'm going to say is be really conscious of what the weather's doing. It's fine to have them in your greenhouse if it's heated or you've got a heat mat, but I haven't got any of those things. So at the moment it's a real balance between having them outside because they do need the daylight, you know, and some proper light, and also protecting them from the harsh weather. Some people say don't start things off early. I think that's a lot of rubbish. Just don't start off too much early and be really mindful of stuff that you can look after it and it can get enough light. So the things I've got started off already I've got a selection of tomatoes, which obviously they started off quite small, and I've potted them on into larger pots now because they were, you know, they were outgrowing those pots, and also if you don't pot them on, they use up the water really quickly and they can dry out too soon. So something else I started off from seed are my leeks there. So I've got 2 leeks. Those are the first ones I started off, and you can see they're a little bit bigger and a bit fuller to the second lot that are still quite thin. Can you see the difference between the two? So not an awful lot of difference, just a matter of weeks, but you can see those ones are starting to thicken out a lot more. So I've also got some kale that I've started off in. Again, the same thing. I started those off in small trays, just like that there, and where you can see actually the pot over there, and I've transplanted them into bigger pots. So you can see what the difference makes between potting something on. If I lift them out over here, these are what I originally started them off in, this little tray here, and I've planted them on, and you can see when you plant them on they do start to fill out a little bit more, so it's well worth potting on your seedlings. I kept these back because I didn't know how many of these were going to survive, but pretty much most of them have, so I can probably give these ones away. So what else have I got? I've got some broccolis over here that I've started off. And again, the same thing there. I started them off in quite small trays and I've potted them on so that they flourish more. And those in particular were really long and straggly. I don't know if anyone remembers when I started those off, and even I wasn't sure whether it was worth potting them on. But you think, well, what else am I going to do with them? Might as well give it a go. And they actually look fine now, so absolutely fine. But again, still not ready to go out. Now, I have actually purchased a few things from a really good garden centre, so there's no shame in doing that. I was at a garden centre recently and had some really good looking healthy plants for a good price. Some broccoli, some purple sprouting and some Brussels, which are these ones here. But the trays they came in were the size of little postage stamps, so I've potted these on into bigger trays because again the same thing, I can't plant these out yet because it's still a little bit too risky and I could end up losing the plants. So again, I've potted those on and I've potted the other ones on as well over there. I also picked up some really lovely herbs, and although some of these are actually quite hardy and I could have those outside, I've not got round to planting them out yet. So I bought a selection of herbs when I was in the garden centre as well. So, I've got a little bit of lettuce over there too, in a little pot. So, not too many, but just a few I threw in there. I might actually just keep that on my windowsill and just use those as and when I want them to put them into salads. So yeah, like I said, probably looks like I've got quite a lot, but I'm used to doing this, and it won't be that long actually. You know, we're you know, towards the beginning of April at the moment, but in a few weeks time, you know, we might all be brave enough to put stuff out. I'm in the south, so it does traditionally warm up a little bit more here than it does in other parts of the country. But again, you just have to you know, do what's right for you in the different area that you're in. But for the time being, mine will be in here at the moment because we're actually going away, and I want to make sure that if we do get a frosty night, they're not gonna die, because I can't whip them in if I'm not at home. So these are the things that I've started off already. When I come back off holiday, I will be starting some more things off. So I will be starting off my pumpkins, my squashes, my courgettes, my cucumbers. I'll be starting off some French beans. So those are things I will be starting off in April, but I'll start them off towards the end of April. So I do hope that this has been useful and you've enjoyed looking at the things that I've started to grow, and I'd love to hear what you're growing at the moment and what you're doing.